Hi and welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be about startup breakthroughs. Yes, so it's a startup talk, and in today's video we are going to take one iconic startup and how they broke through. In today's video we are going to compare the big giants and the startups, right? So big tech and startups. So in today's video we are going to take an iconic startup and how they broke through in the space of tech, in the space of software, right? And how they dealt and how they fought all their way through the ground up in the world of tech. Okay, so today's icon we are looking at here is Spotify, and this video is made possible by a post I saw on Twitter by a handle called Oscar Ho. If I'm pronouncing it right, Oscar Ho is at the Oscar Ho. So he's an entrepreneur, author, and investor, full of strategies on leadership, personal and career growth, and entrepreneurship. Right. So you can click and follow him, go search him out, go check him out. He posts this great content. I went through this, like, no, you know what, I could make something out of this, share this, and like, you know, in the space of startups we can get something out of this. Okay, so that's his handle, Oscar Ho. Let's take a deep dive into today's video. So today's video is brought to you by Yeps Plumbing. So what is Yeps Plumbing? Yeps Plumbing is it's a plumbing service provider in Ghana. So let's check out the Yeps Plumbing service. So Yeps Plumbing, right? So what did they do? So it's a service provider here in Ghana. Getting into the field of plumbing, engineering, stuff like that. So about them, you can log out to yesplumbing.com to check them out, right? You can check them out, their mission, their team of pros, what they do, their services, right? So there's this thing I like about Yes Plumbing. Okay, so I see they have residential services, commercial, and other services that they offer, right? So there is this thing I came across after coming in touch with them. They have this maintenance system, right? It's a service they provide, right? So it's a routine maintenance program. So check them out. The maintenance specifications, the period, it's either monthly or bi-weekly. Okay, you have reports, risk, repairs, and a whole lot that goes into this routine maintenance checkup. You can check them out for your small facilities or your industrial facilities. They are the starter plan and the pro plan for industrial facilities, and the small facilities you have the starter plan. So you can take the opportunity, get in touch with them. You can call them, you can WhatsApp them, or you can send a message via mail, yes, and get in touch with them. So that's for Yes Plumbing. Let's get into today's video. So today's video is going to be on Spotify. So you all know Spotify, right? Apple, Android, you all know, listen to music, you stream music, podcast, and stuff like that. So Spotify was founded in 2006 by Daniel Ek and Martin Lorentzen in Stockholm, Sweden. So the idea, Ek was inspired to create Spotify to provide a legal alternative to music piracy, which was costing the music industry millions of dollars, right, each year. He wanted to create a service that was better than piracy and compensated the music industry. So this was his idea. This is how the startup was born, right? So Daniel Ek, right? Daniel Ek and Martin Lorentzen. So they came together and this was the idea. But guess what? As the startup grew, competition was there. Who was the main competitor? Apple Music, right? So in 2015, Apple tried to crash Spotify, threatening to remove them from the App Store. They demanded a 30% fee on all their revenue. You can imagine that, and block their app updates. But Spotify's response was genius. Here's how a Swedish startup outsmarted the world's biggest company. You know Apple, right? Apple is huge. Apple is big. Up until you have SpaceX and others. Apple, Alphabet, that's Google and Co. They were huge, right? They were huge in the market. So this is how a Swedish startup outsmarted the world's biggest company, Apple. Let's get into it, right? So what then happened? So 2006, Daniel Ek started Spotify in Sweden. The music industry was dying, like I mentioned earlier on. Piracy killed 50% of revenue, CD sales collapsed, iTunes dominated legal downloads, right? Now, everyone said everything streaming will fail. So if you dare go into the business of streaming, it will be failed. So Spotify was born, right? By 2015, Spotify was growing very fast. They had 75 million users. They were present in 58 countries and they were worth $8.4 billion. $8.4 billion. But then they caught the eye of Apple, right? Apple saw them and like, bro, who are you? Who are these guys in the game, right? Then something happened. Apple decided they are going to come against them. Oh, I just like this. So Apple decided to enter the music streaming business, right? Their weapon, Apple Music, their competitive advantage, control of the Apple Store, right? The App Store, they had absolute control over it. It's here, so automatically they have control over it. But then something changed, right? Apple's strategy was brutal. One, they charge a 30% fee on all subscriptions. They ban links to external payment options, so you can't pay if you can't pay on App Store if you don't use like the Apple Pay and stuff like that. You can't use third-party payment systems. So they blocked all which Spotify was using, okay, for their payments, right? And they blocked app updates mentioning prices. So if you have an app update you want to upload, update the app, and that update had the word prices in it, forget about the update. It's not going. That update is not going anywhere. And they pre-installed Apple Music on 1 billion plus devices. So Apple devices, right? They were choking Spotify slowly, choking them slowly. They were choking them, right? Now this was the follow-up. The numbers were devastating. Spotify 12.99 on iOS to cover Apple's 30% fee. Right? Apple was charging a 30% fee on what Apple devices, okay, on the App Store. So now for Spotify to be in there, they need to pay a fee of 30% of what they are charging customers, right? And back then they were charging 9.99. So to compensate for that and also get what they are looking for, the ROI and all that, they had to increase their rate to $12.99 to be able to get what they need, satisfy the customers, and also satisfy Apple as well. Okay, so everybody lives in peace. But here's the cap. Apple had Apple Music on their devices and they were charging $9.99 everywhere. Okay, Spotify also elsewhere were charging $9.99 everywhere. Apple could undercut Spotify using Spotify's own money. Pure genius, and this is pure evil. We all understand this is pure evil. But then Egg made a shocking move. Instead of surrendering and selling the app to Apple Music and striking those lower deals, he was like, no, I'm not giving up. He made a shocking move. What happened? Instead of surrendering, he went nuclear. He went ballistic. He filed an antitrust complaint with the EU. Apple's response: Spotify wants all the benefits of a free app without being free. That was Apple's response, right? Then this happened, right? I'm going to pause this on the screen for you to read that if you care to read, and also I'm going to leave the link to this thread in the description below, okay, in the description box below, so you can go ahead and read this. So Spotify came here like, what, if this is your response, then it's time to play fair, time to level the playground. So Spotify's next move was Spotify launched timetoplayfair.com. You can go and check this website out, timetoplayfair.com, right? On that website, what they did was they exposed Apple's practices to the world. Whatever Apple was doing in the day, they exposed it. They rejected app updates 12 times. They blocked Spotify from HomePods. They prevented Siri integration and they restricted user communication. So, look, this is evil. They exposed this to the tech world was stunned by their boldness. Okay, so this is timetoplayfair.com. And if you have time, you can go to the link. I'll also leave this link in the description below for you to check it out. Timetoplayfair.com. So then, after this bold move, right, what then happened? The war escalated. The war escalated. In European a formal investigation, the US Congress questioned Apple, what is going on? Tell me something, what's going on? Other developers joined the fight. South Korea, not North Korea, South Korea. There are two types of Koreas, the North and the South. Okay, the South changed their laws. David was winning against Goliath. David is meant to be the small boy, and Goliath is meant to be that, right? So David was winning against Goliath. So with the EU, an antitrust commission sent statements of objection to Apple on App Store rules for music streaming providers. That was after they filed a formal complaint with the EU, right? So after all this, 2021 came victory. It started in 2015 after all that war, right? In 2021 came victory. Victory for who? Victory for Spotify. Now, Apple was forced to allow external payments. That's a win, right? Their 30% tax started crumbling. Legal raise is not going to be a one-time thing, petitioning and all that. It started crumbling. So it's a slow move, right? But here's the crazy part. During the entire war, Spotify kept growing. It kept growing, right? It kept growing. So this is a point whereby you don't give up, you continue to fight. And like I said, the growth was insane. Take a look, the growth was insane. In 2015, they had 75 million users. In 2015, they had 75 million users. 2017, they grew to 140 users. That's 140 million users once again. And in 2019, the numbers kept rising. So we moved from 248 million users to 365 million users. In 2023, as of this video is in 2025 to 2023, they had 489 million users, right? So guess what? What the fight was, while fighting the world biggest company, okay, they added 414 million users. How? Here's a chart. So in the first quarter of 2015, second quarter of 2015, the third quarter, in there's a chart with the quarters of what is going on, right? From statistica.com. So you can check out statistics and go for statistics and numbers, figures of activities in the world, right? Then something happened after this growth. X strategy was brilliant, right? This was the strategy he used. Okay, so this is egg. I suppose he's supposed to be egg. This was his strategy. He made a fight public. It's David and Goliath, right? They took a fight to the public. It was on the field. Take the fight to the public. If you're indoors trying to fight, bro, you're gonna get beaten. Take the fight to the public. Let everyone view in. United other developers. They united other developers. Developers saw the fights and they're playing for like, hey, what the hell is going on? Dogs started pushing up face. They're like, we go into this fight. Straight up into this fight. And they focused on user experience. So they look at what Apple was doing. They look at gears. They compared better and got in touch with users, iterated on their services, and essentially they focused on user experience and made it better, right? They kept on innovating. They moved and had podcasts and they had audiobooks unlike Apple Music back then, right? And they never backed down. Never back down, never what? Keyword.
Never back down, never what? Never give up! Let's go!
They turned Apple's pressure into free marketing. So we are few minutes deep into the video and we now get a sense of what's really happening, right? Big tech try to squash startups, and startups, you know what, this is a strategy we're going to use. We are taking the fight public and we are turning the people against you, bring the forces behind our backs and moving to you, right? So today Spotify stands at 489 million users, and this post was made December 28, 2024. So kind of like 2024, 2025. Spotify stands at 489 million users and Apple stands at 88 million users worldwide. Okay, the little Swedish startup is bigger than Apple Music. Now this is going to be a tagline for 2025. All you startup builders, right? All you founders, all you CEOs, let's go X number of times than our competitors. So now the little Swedish startup is 5x bigger than Apple Music. They didn't just survive, they dominated. They dominated the streaming industry. Earlier on, they said, the streaming, anything streaming is what is a failure. But here's what, guess what? Due to great fight and all that, never giving up, Swedish little startup is now 5x bigger than the world's biggest startup. Sorry, the world's biggest company. No, I keep missing the word. One of the biggest giants. Okay, let's just put one of the biggest giants, right? Now the lesson is clear. What's the lesson here? This is why I love Oscar Ho, how he put everything. He starts from the beginning of the story, the end, the lessons, and putting them together. This is a masterpiece. I think he deserves a follow. Join in and just give him a follow and let's learn more from him. Or if better still, subscribe to this channel as I get amazing content as such and present it to you at the comfort of your homes, just behind your phones, your PCs, like what. So that the lesson is clear, right? When a giant tries to crush you, don't hide. This is a strategy for 2025 and beyond. Do not hide, right? Fight in public, build alliances, turn their size into weakness. Fight in public, build alliances, and turn their size into weakness. David beats Goliath by changing the rules of the game. David beats Goliath. So there he is, Egg. See, Egg, a happy man now, right? Spotify. It happens, right? So founders, your biggest competitive strength can become their weakness. So founders, right? You start up founders and upcoming CEOs. It says your biggest competitors' strength can become their weakness. Their strength can become their weakness. So take advantage of that, right? Spotify turns Apple dominance into a story of unfairness and one. Sometimes the best defense is bold offense, moving to that offense, right? Creators, brands, and entrepreneurship. This straight to 1.5. So this ends the video, and like I said earlier, this video is brought to you by Yeps Plumbing Services. You can log on to yepsplumbing.com and get in touch with them, right? Okay, so that's it for today's video. In subsequent videos, I'm going to talk a lot more and learn more about startups and how to move into the field of tech, technology, the future, and everything else, business wise, finance, and everything. So that's it for today's video. I'll catch you in another video. Peace.